So you want to stop digitally stalking your ex, and ideally you want to do it fast. And I get it, that feeling of your chest tightening up or your breath catching in your chest as soon as you see that green active now dot turn on or turn off, and you start doing all the mental math, all the mental gymnastics to try and figure out, when were they last online? What time did they go to sleep? What time did they wake up? Why were they up so late? Maybe they were with somebody else, and this is honestly exhausting. And you feel like you might be losing your mind a little bit, but I'm here to tell you that you're not. And today, in this video, I want to walk you through the 3 specific things that are happening and why it's happening and how to actually stop it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the dopamine loop, because we have to try and understand what this actually is, because it feels like love, right? It feels like connection, or maybe just feels like super intense curiosity. But what is actually going on is that this is just a dopamine loop. And so I have talked to many of my clients, and a lot of them share the same behavior. They're usually super smart, very, very successful career, very, very logical thinker. And oftentimes what they will do is that they will create a fake Instagram account. I think the kids are calling these things a Finsta. And what they will do is they will use this fake Instagram account to go and check their ex's stories because they're blocked on their main account. And most of the time they feel crazy, right? They feel like they're broken and their logical mind is like telling them it doesn't make sense. But what is actually happening is that they are all just chasing this dopamine hit. So every time they check, every time that you check your ex's profile, you get this tiny little spike of chemical reward. And even if what you see hurts you, the anticipation of going to check, going to see what is happening, releases that dopamine. And it's not that you are addicted to your ex, but you are addicted to this little spike in chemicals that you get at the thought of finding out what is happening with them, of getting some type of clue of where they are or where they might be. And so if this is resonating with you, if this is something that you find yourself doing, I would invite you to take a look down in the description below. This is the type of work that I absolutely love to do, absolutely love to help people with. So in the description, you will find 2 links on how we can work deeper together on this. And so now this brings me to the second point, which is why your willpower never seems to work here. And you've probably told yourself a dozen times, okay, that's it. That's the last one. I'm never checking again. I'm done. And then inevitably, 20 minutes later, 15 minutes later, 30 minutes later, whatever it is, your hand reaches for your phone and all of a sudden you find your thumb hovering above their profile picture again. And it's not because you are weak, right? It's because your nervous system doesn't feel safe. And when your nervous system doesn't feel safe, it's sending out the equivalent of an SOS signal. So when you go through a breakup, your body feels unsafe because you've just gone through this traumatic event and it's shaking everything up. And so your body feels dysregulated. And it knows that when it goes and checks your ex's profile, it can find safety in a familiar feeling. It can find safety in checking to see where they are, checking to see when they were last online. And so when you feel anxious, when you feel this feeling, your body is overriding your brain and says, go check the profile and get this sense of safety, because that is what is absolutely longing for. It's longing to feel safe again. And so this is just what is happening, right? It's not a lack of discipline. It's not a lack of not being able to control yourself. It's literally your body trying to feel safe. And so it is looking for something familiar. And so this brings me to the third thing that I want to share with you, which is how do we actually stop this? Since we know we can't just decide and force our way out of this, how do we bring our nervous system back into regulation? How do we become aware that we are in this body right now? And so the way to do that is that you have to interrupt this physical pattern. We have to interrupt when we find our hand reaching for the phone unconsciously. We have to make a conscious decision to stop it. And so this is called a somatic interruption. And so the next time this urge hits, the next time you find yourself in this position, no matter if it's before you grab your phone, at whatever time you find yourself in this urge to check their profile, don't try and argue with it logically, because again, this isn't a logical problem. It's a physical problem. So you need to do something physical. So one of my favorite things to do is to just start shaking your hands vigorously, maybe jumping up and down, or take 2 short, sharp inhales through your nose and then let out a long sigh. And so that looks like this. And these types of processes will interrupt that and start to signal to your body that you are safe, that you are here, that you are in this room right now. And it doesn't need to go there. It doesn't need to go to check your ex's profile to get that sense of regulation, to get that chemical hit. So if this is interesting to you, if you find yourself nodding your head, realizing this is something that you do on a regular basis, and you are starting to have the realization that this is something that you want to stop, that you are ready to do the intentional work to do more of these practices to be able to bring yourself back into your body, to be able to regulate your nervous system so you don't get trapped in these constant loops of overthinking, then again, I invite you to take a look in the description and find the links on how we can work deeper together on this. And so the last thing I want to share with you before I end this video is that even if you use these somatic interruptions to help you stop the scrolling, to stop the checking, and you will find it very helpful, you might find that your brain is still spinning. And so even if you have managed to stop the thumb, if you've managed to start lowering the amount of time that you are checking their stories, you might still find yourself in a place of confusion. And this is ultimately a mindset issue. And so honestly, everything in this video will start to lose its power if you still find yourself in this internal narrative. So I have created a video. It's called Mindset Shifts That Changed My Breakup Journey Forever. I will place a link to it here on the bottom of the screen, and I highly suggest that you take it out to start solving this other issue of mindset issues that come when you are trying to move on from a breakup. So thank you so much for your attention and peace. I will see you in the next video.